Oops.
Hello. You start with an oops. That's a great start. All right. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Hello, world. Hello,
Hello,
Internet.
folks.
Yeah.
Hello. Oh my
So,
goodness.
good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us here at CodeItLive. We are your hosts for the day, and you know our names. This is Sam, Ed, Alyssa, and TJ. How are you three wonderful folks?
Doing well. How
We're
are
doing
you?
good. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah. Doesn't feel like it's Wednesday yet. Chat room is filling up. Yeah. Hello. Let's see. Aztec. Hello. Woot woot. Okay. So, and Alyssa is trying to fix something on the fly, live on the internet, because Alyssa and Ed are late to the game, if I might say. So we'll see how they catch up. But let me set the stage here. And while I will mention this, while you see the four of us on stream, on camera here, there are two very special people in the back rooms. In particular, Cindy Vaskova. She's our social media and video magician, and this whole idea of a Easter egg stream, that's hers. So thank you, Cindy, for making us old people kind of wake up and do some fun things for a change. But thank you. And also in the back room, I think it is Ivana, who's our again, social media queen. So they're around. There is Ivana, and there is Raptame. Hail. Yeah. So that is Cindy. This is her idea. So let's kind of go through what you can expect and why we are doing this. I'm just trying to have a little fun on a Wednesday. It's hump day, you know.
Hump day.
Yeah. Easter, right? Easter, it is a religious and somewhat cultural holiday, and I think most of the Western world celebrates Easter earlier on, like in early April, first week of April, I think. And that's, I think, because of the Julian and the Gregorian calendars. I think Orthodox Easter is coming up on this Sunday. So much of like Eastern Europe is actually off for vacation. So we're trying to be somewhere in the middle, just trying to celebrate Easter. And we were talking about this from like an inclusion standpoint. Like I'm not a religious person, but I'm up for celebrating anything because, again, I think any religion, any culture, it's all about food and people and celebration. So I'm up for anything. So that's what we're doing here. It is a stream to kind of celebrate Easter, but in particular, what we associate Easter with is Easter eggs. And again, those of us who maybe have kids, it's just a tradition to do the whole Easter egg hunt thing. And the most basic way is kind of how we rolled, at least this time around, was just to buy some plastic eggs, hide some things in it, and hide the eggs all around the house, your yard, your garden, whatever, and have the kids find it. So, TJ, Ed, Alyssa, anything fun you did?
My 2-year-old now, so he didn't really birthdays. It was his birthday on Easter this year, and he didn't really get the concept of birthdays yet or Easter. And I think we've officially, concreted that, presents are for opening, no matter whose presents. So now when he's at other birthday parties, you better watch out. And also that Easter eggs, when he sees them, means that there's a jelly bean inside. So, if there's no jelly bean, then it's a broken Easter egg. Is really
just don't get him started on the what are those beans that you have, the bamboozled beans?
Oh,
like
the bean boozled. They're like nasty flavored beans in the mix. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
TJ, Ed, anything fun you did?
Our kids are getting to the age where those things are for children and they don't want to do them anymore. So I think they colored some eggs and bailed halfway in between and left a mess for my wife to clean up. So that's about how it goes around our place.
Yeah, we still do the traditional Easter egg hunt, but our kids are 10 now, so they're getting a little bit older. So this year I ramped up the difficulty level of where I was hiding these things. And the only downside of that is that I wasn't keeping track of it. So we've been finding Easter eggs throughout the month because I put them someplace, I totally forgot about it, and then like we open some closet and somebody finds one. So the Easter egg hunt has been continuing just because I didn't keep track of where I put these things.
That's the way to go. Confuse yourself. The Scoobs. Good morning. Yeah, those jelly beans
Yeah,
are
those jelly
nasty.
beans are bad.
We
Yeah.
made Alyssa suffer on the last stream.
I
'cause,
still have them. I have a prop box of like outfits and random props that I've used through like for streams to like pull out. And it's honestly, I started the prop box before streaming. It was for conferences because I don't know why, but anytime I was walking the hallways, if I wasn't dressed in some sort of ridiculous garb, I didn't feel right. So the beans that I had left over, because for some reason they thought I needed like 12 boxes to do like who's gonna eat that many? But there's plenty more if we ever, are just hankering for some pain. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun when you forget where you've hidden your stuff, like Ivan is saying. Yeah, and maybe TJ and Ed, you might remember our colleague Jen Looper, who we all loved. She works at Microsoft now. She had a super fun way of doing Easter eggs. I think she had bought eggs which were like Bluetooth LE capable, and then she did like the geofencing thing, and just like as you walk with your phone, you gotta like. Are you getting hot or are you getting cold type thing?
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, we got to look into some fun ways. Yeah. Okay, so that's the point of Easter egg hunts, like physical Easter egg, but we don't live in a physical world anymore, right? Everything's virtual. So let's talk about what this means to us, developers and software folks. So Easter eggs are traditionally a way to kind of hide something in your code. And let me actually move a few things so I can bring up my desktop, because I found a nice reading article that I can maybe share, and then we can set the stage. So give me a second, share my screen, that screen, and share. There you go. Okay, so let's zoom this one up, and just random internet articles that I found. So what is this history of Easter eggs in our code, and what does it mean to have an Easter egg, and how do you do it, and what are some famous ones? So I found this definition to be somewhat accurate in terms of how we perceive things. So it needs to be undocumented, something that is it's reproducible. Let me hide this.
So Sam, the Easter egg here is finding the definition of Easter egg within all the ads on this page.
I know, right? I'm like, what am I supposed to be reading, Sam?
Yeah, okay.
They need more.
There we go.
Yeah, it's a lot of ads. But anyways, it's undocumented. It's something the programmer, the developer puts in intentionally, and it needs to be reproducible, perhaps not very easily. And it needs to have like a deliberate way of kind of showing something that is personal to the developer, and hopefully not harmful in any way, just entertainment. That's kind of the way in which we perceive Easter eggs. Like, do you folks like think of it any different?
So back in the day, I used to work in a electronics field where they call it delidding, and you'd take off the top layer of a processor and look at the actual physical die on the processor. And the die manufacturers would hide Easter eggs within the traces of the circuits.
Oh boy, that's hardcore and hardware.
So you'd find little drawings and things. There's actually pictures of them online you can find. It's pretty amazing what they can etch into those little tiny dies.
We've been Jeep owners for like, I don't know, 6-7 years. And we just realized this year that Jeeps have Easter eggs. Like there's hidden like characters, like, and they're different, I think, per Jeep, like in the mats or like printed on like the edge of the window. Like just like there's a little T-Rex skull on my floorboard, and that we just discovered. I was like, look, an Easter egg, they're everywhere.
I feel like the main reason people do these is to like tell their friends or impress their friends. Like you have like one bit of knowledge nobody else has, and you can show it off at parties and such. At least that's how I've always interpreted these. Because I know some of the earliest ones, and I might mention this in this article, are like from developers working on games, and they wanted, they knew they weren't going to get any credit for it. The game's not going to show their name on the splash screen, so they want to have their mark on it. So they basically hide something, sometimes without telling anyone. I mean, some of these Easter eggs are totally approved, company sponsored, and sometimes they're just developers like are in total control. So if you don't make it obvious, you can kind of sneak something in there without telling anyone either.
Yeah.
Sam, I popped you a link in private chat to share on screen.
Oh, okay. And while I'm sharing screen, feel free to highlight any of the messages here, folks. Let's see what I have no idea what Ed is dropping, so I'm just going to open it up and hope for the best. Because sometimes I don't trust Ed. So
I don't know why.
Here we go. All right. And before we get to what Ed sent, and again, like some of the history of this may be debatable, how far back you want to go. Like this particular article talks about like the very first like documented Easter egg. Apparently it was 1979, although I found something that was like maybe a little sooner, but this may be the most like well documented thing. So it was Atari. And Warren Robinette was one of the designers, and to TJ's point, like he wasn't getting credit. They were selling like thousands of this, and they did not credit the designer in any way. So I think he had a secret room that would be opened, and that included like his signature. So that's one of the first like documented things. Yeah. And now let's see what Ed dropped. Oh, Ed dropped cookies. All right, accept all cookies. I have no idea what this is. Oh, these are things on chips. Interesting.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. We'd pulled the tops off of these things, and every once in a while you'd spot something kind of cool etched into the surface of your CPUs or whatever we were looking at.
Oh, that's so cool.
This is really fun. This is like a whole other form of Easter egg. This is like hardware and etched on. So let me, again, like some of us are giving away our ages here, because like when Ed says going back to my times is like 30 years back, mine's not as bad. So these are some of the first ones I remember. And actually Google is full of these things. And I use Bing, so I actually have to physically go to Google, like by physically I mean URL. So these are some of the famous ones that I know. So if you search for anagram, they do a thing called Nagarat, which is just funny. Then I remember this one here. Oh, and actually, speaking of Google, so I grew up with Friends a little bit. So if you do searches on,
they reverse anagram.
Yeah, they do that. So if you search for,
sorry, Sam.
No, that's fine. Yeah, keep highlighting the stuff here that while I'm sharing screen. So if you search for, this is the Friends show. If you search for any of the characters, they do fun things like Joey gets his. Yeah, you couldn't hear it because I don't think I'm sharing system audio, but they do some fun things. And then Ross gets his famous. You remember the episode where he was trying to move a couch up the stairs? So he gets this couch, which means like just the whole thing trips. And Monica, I think, gets like a cleaning thing. So these are some of the first ones that I remember. And Ed, you and me might remember some of this stuff. So Excel had a thing where like in the 90s, like Doom was all the rage. So they had a thing where you could do Doom and like characters showed up. And in Word, I had completely forgotten about this, but this has always been there. I don't know if anybody does things like this, but if you are in a Word document and you just want to generate some random content, I don't know if you remember, you can do this, rand. Let me bump up my fonts a little bit. Oh, maybe not. I did something else in Word.
I remember there used to be one in like the help window. You'd hold like Control and click like a million times, and it would do something crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Did it work?
No, it didn't work. So hang on. Rand, there you go. Okay, so Word can insert random text, and you can actually do lorem ipsum in Word as well. And so the thing...
this is how Sam writes his blog posts. By the way.
This is how I do it, exactly. Hang on, can I bump this font up anymore? There you go. So if you do a rand dot old, that's what you get. So the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy log. Okay, now... little trivia question. Does anybody know the significance of that sentence? Anyone?
Yeah, doesn't it use every letter in the alphabet?
Exactly. So that's what you use to teach people how to type. So yeah, Word does a few funny things, and I think Excel does too. But yeah, these are some of the oldest ones that I can remember. Do any of you remember anything fun?
Well, Aztec Consulting is saying there's a flight simulator in Excel, and I legit can't tell if that's sarcasm or that's really a true thing. And
So,
I
yeah,
typed it into Google, and the first result is there still a flight simulator in Excel?
There's a cool one in, I think it's Grand Central Station when they cleaned it in New York. They left one of the tiles dirty, and it's way up in the corner of Grand Central Station to remind folks of how dirty it actually was before they cleaned it and restored it. So if you look, you can actually see it from the ground level.
That's funny. Okay, so let's get to our stuff. And folks, there are prizes to be won here. So we have all been kind of slacking, and Cindy has asked us to do this beforehand. We kind of got it done last minute, and it looks like TJ or Ed and Alyssa are still trying to do it while we are on live. So we did hide a few little things in some of the pages that are public, and maybe we'll take the turn to just kind of show you where to find it. We will drop our clues, and you see the clues again at the bottom of the screen. But let's do that right now, and then we will take turns to kind of walk you through how we did this. So TJ, do you want to start off yours?
Yeah.
I'll drop my desktop. You go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Let me bring it up. Do we want to just start by showing people where these are and sort of dropping the clues?
Yes, yeah, please.
See if we can find it. All right. So for me, I run a show here on Twitch, React Wednesdays. You can actually stick around after this. We'll be running React Wednesdays here in a little more than an hour. But there is an Easter egg hidden on this page somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a link to it in chat. And your clue to help you find this, once it posts here, and I think see Cindy put it on the banner, but I'll also drop it in the chat. It's a couple emojis to help you find it. And if you can find it, there is...
Not cryptic at all, huh?
Exactly.
There are Amazon gift cards to be had, right, TJ?
There are. I don't know the exact prizes. Cindy can help us out with it. And I think we need the link so that if you do find it, there's a form.
To the forms. Yep.
You can fill out.
There you go. So, Cindy just dropped the link. And can we highlight that link, one of you, please? So go to that URL. So you have a little bit of time to, while we kind of tinker and talk through other things, go kind of tinker around with TJ's clues, see if you can find anything. And then if you do, drop it in that form. So each form gets a winner. And TJ, while you have your desktop open, maybe that's all we need. So I can kind of walk you through instead of doing the switch one more time.
Sure.
Go to Telerik.com /.net devs with, that one. Okay, so this page actually is still in the works, so it doesn't have much really. This is just a landing page. I do a show every Thursday, which is our .NET Dev show. On this page, we are wanting to list out all the things that we do, some of the recent episodes, and then what's coming up. So it doesn't have much yet, but on this page, TJ, if you want to scroll down and kind of get to any of the shows that have been done before. So you click on any of those little banners, that takes you to a page, which is kind of a detail page. And go ahead and drop a link to any of that, TJ. Any of those pages will work. So those detail pages is where the Easter egg is. And my clue is, let me see if I can do this, 1986. Some of you are gamers, so this might ring a bell.
I have no idea what this is.
No, TJ, don't do that. Oh, and by the way, folks, we don't know each other's. I think I know TJ's one, but I don't think the others know mine. So
okay, so I should be Googling this off screen?
Don't do Google on screen, please. No, it's pretty aberrant once you figure that out. Go look and.
I know this one. I won't give anything away.
I'm
an OG gamer. Like this is. I played this game in my sleep, so I know all of the ins and outs of what this is all about.
Nice. And Ed, Alyssa, were you able to fix up your stuff?
We could show what ours was going to be, but we didn't get it planted.
And I actually got a little bit of it planted, so I'll share it.
Did you now? Okay.
So a little bit. It's not the gloriousness that it should have been. I was so sick yesterday and the day before, so I do apologize. I was supposed to do a worthy web stream with accessibility and Easter egg planting, so I'm sorry that did not happen.
And I had a customer meeting that overtook my spot, so I couldn't do it.
Apologies. But like seriously, learning about all of these Easter eggs, like a lot of them I had no idea. I'm gonna say 99% of them, like the Easter eggs that you shared this morning, no idea.
Okay, well, you tinker while we're on as well.
Alyssa was only 6 when the Gradius Easter egg was developed, so.
I'm like, of course Ed would be taking apart hardware to find Easter eggs, of course.
So are we going to show ours, or do we have a page to link people to?
I was just going to link them to the code pen, and then we can walk them through it. But
we can walk them through it.
No chicken references.
The code pin, and I think Cindy's going to put it up on the screen, but I can also share it.
And I can share a live view.
Awesome, perfect. You share the live view, and so there's our code pin. If you want to go and try and find our Easter egg, it's kind of a 2-parter. So,
should I show?
Ed, refresh, Ed. I think I changed the font color, and it should be centered. And
if I do, it won't show up in the spot.
Oh
right?
no. Okay. Well, Ed's is a little bit older than what you'll be seeing, but that's fine.
So
why are we looking at your office, Ed?
Because Easter eggs, like you said, Sam, they don't have to be virtual. They can be in the real world. So maybe
really, you hit something in your office.
Your keyboard is so cool. I hate you. There he is.
Little augmented reality Easter egg there. So we've got our chicken, and I can't pick him up. I want to pick him up.
I know.
So wait,
I can hold him in my hand like that.
So this is different. Like since this is augmented, like you're actually showing the Easter egg, while Ed or like TJ and me haven't shown what it is.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we were supposed to have clues, and it was going to be a whole thing. So try to get the Easter egg working on your screen. Take a screenshot and let's send it to us. We want to see if you can get the chicken in your hands. So the technologies behind this, Ed has been wanting to use ARJS for a really long time. And so the idea was to leave accessible screen reader clues that you had to use a screen reader to find. And then eventually it would lead you to the AR chicken. And so that was the grand plan. But right now we just have AR chicken.
What is ARJS?
I don't know, Ed.
Augmented reality JavaScript framework.
Yeah, like what does it do?
You can do this type of augmented reality where you have a marker and it will show 3D models that you can interact with. So they have like touch and pinch and zoom events and all sorts of things you can add to this. If I can get it to go. Come on, recognize it again. Let's do this. So you can do your own Pokemon Go type of application with JavaScript. And it can do location-based recognition, so you can put things in the real world and tie them to a latitude and longitude. And it does image recognition as well. So there's a lot of like really cool underlying tech there and like a 3D engine that it's supporting. So it's really neat. I haven't had too much time to play with it, but we did get our chicken to show up. That was kind of like the first test.
You had TJ at Pokemon, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Let me show mine real quick.
But when you showed that, Ed, like, are we looking at your phone being mirrored?
Yeah. So I was using my phone to mirror mine.
And so what are we looking at now?
I just have it open in the browser.
Okay.
And if you can get it to where there's no glare on I should not have printed it on glossy. Then you're holding the chicken, but then over here you can see the code that I'm like the ARJS is so cool. I've have been having so much fun playing with it. But let me plop that down. So you have a scene, and then inside of that, you've got the marker, which it's preset to hero, which is this image, but you can choose even a custom marker. And they've got tools to help you build the marker if you'd like. But I think the more basic, the better. And then you can throw in text, which I threw in cluck cluck, but right now my positioning is all wrong. So the clucking is like inside the chicken. I think I could like bump that up to, hang on, let's live do this. Bump it up to like ones.
So while you're doing this, no, sorry, TJ, go on.
For the hero, is that something both you and Ed printed out, that paper there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, my my printer died, so I hand drew mine.
Oh.
That's why
he
it's a little
drew
flaky.
his, and it works. I was like, you're so amazing. Like, you have no idea how awesome that is.
I got out a
let's see.
Sharpie. I was like, let's do this.
Let's see if I can get the cluck out of the... Can you get the cluck out of the chicken?
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
That is clucking incredible, Alyssa.
Looks like
but I do
you were
apologize
to work too.
that I do apologize that we did not have it as fanciful and beautiful. But I think the things to take away are ARJS is really cool. Do I have to create a 1986 chicken? Because that isn't happening. I don't get it.
Yeah, drop a link to ARJS. This is pretty cool. So Blazer Mr. Magoo is combining my hint with your AR thing and making it a chicken. So yeah, funny. I have questions. I have a lot of questions, but let's see. What do we want to do? So we want to give folks maybe a little bit more time to drop in those answers in the docs in the forms that are being plastered there. So go ahead and drop those forms.
I think we just did it twice.
We spammed it.
Sorry
Yeah,
about
we
that,
spammed
everyone.
So I have questions about this. So the AR part of it works entirely in browser. You don't need any VR devices, nothing else. I mean, it just works in any browser.
Anything that has a camera attached. So your desktop, your mobile device, any mobile browser is gonna work. That's on like a tablet or something like that.
Ed, do you ever open up the chicken? Because I opened it in VS Code, loaded a
Open the chicken?
I don't understand. This is nuanced. What do you mean open the chicken?
I'm not meaning to be disturbing. I know it's coming off that way. I'm pulling it up to show you. Because it's like a GLTF, and if you know what that means, I'm gonna need you to tell me. File. Gult file.
Yeah, I think it's OpenGL standard format for 3D models.
Okay. Let me show you. I'm going to share this screen real quick and show you, because I have I mean, Ed is getting me into it's like, on Aladdin, a whole new world. Like that's what it is. It's just beautiful. Hang on, where is VS Code?
While you do that, Alyssa, so Cindy and Yvonne are telling us that since you actually showed what your Easter egg is, people need to still find it and submit a photo with your AR chicken for a chance to win.
Yes, do it. Can you see my code, the VS Code?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was like hunting through this Gult file, and that's not how you say it, but I'm saying it. But I
Gulfed.
found in Gult.
Just call it Gandalf.
My Gandalf file for this chicken, and there's all these textures, and this right here, this scene is what you point to, but apparently there is an extension, which I was really excited to show you, that lets you preview the asset in VS Code. But not only that, it lets you pick what engine you're using, which is so freaking cool. I was like, oh my god,
I had
this
no
is
idea.
The most cool. And you can and then as you make edits to your 3D beautiful chicken, you can see those edits. Because I was actually hey, I need to modify my chicken, I need to modify my hero image, and so I think this is definitely something I want to do more of in the future.
What's that plugin called?
Is it
Filament?
Let me find it for you. I think it is called Filament, but
I have got to try that out. That is so cool.
And also, who made this chicken?
We We purchased it, so I had to file an expense report for the 3D chicken.
For a $6 chicken. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
You bought a chicken. Yeah.
It's actually called Gold Tools. Gold Tools.
That is so cool.
The reason it was super easy, I opened it in VS Code, and VS Code was like, hey, do you want this extension? I was like, heck yeah. And so she gave it to me, and it worked. So, but I've never been into like 3D rendering. I thought it's like very. Do you understand what A-frame is? Because the ARJS docs kept talking about A-frame, and I was like, hey, I want to modify my chicken a little bit. And so I went over to A-frame's docs and was like reading about the different properties that you can adjust. It feels very canvasy to me, or maybe SVG a little bit. But
yeah, I think ARJS is built on top of several other frameworks. So there's 3JS, which is like a 3D engine. And then A-frame, I think, is the model loading framework. So
you don't think that A-frame replaces 3JS? They would be used together?
No, they're all used together. So I think A-frame is the loader for the scenes. And then ARJS brings the scene and the 3D engine together in the augmented reality scenario. It does like the token detection and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, is there any AR stuff in the browser itself that it's building on top of, or is it basically doing just like almost like a processing in like a image stream, like when it's trying to pick up the markers and such?
Yeah, there's nothing built in as far as I'm aware of. I believe ARJS is doing the recognition of the token or whatever they call it, the target, the hero thing. And then the browser, the only thing I think it has is the OpenGL is part of the browser now. So you can do WebXR, and it builds off of that type of stuff to...
It goes so much further though than like what we were using it for, because there's even like location based things where you can put latitude and longitude, like I guess Ed was telling me kind of like how Pokemon was built, but then it like is working in your browser. So I love it. I love this integration.
Yeah, they have right on the docs page. They have different demos of each, like the location, the marker based, and the image based. I thought
yes,
I was.
Edward, show us.
It got removed from the stream. So if you go to the documentation, there is a couple like pictures of what you can do. This one is the marker base, kind of like we're doing with our hero logo. So somebody put a QR code up on a building, and they've got butterflies flying around in real space, and then somebody's placed tokens or markers, pins in the real world using location based. And then one of their demos is kind of weird. It recognizes a picture of a dinosaur and draws the 3D dinosaur atop the picture of the dinosaur. So you can try
I know
these
not normally
things
an
out.
awe thing. My son loves dinosaurs, so like that would be. I can imagine him walking around with a device and like seeing the dinosaur in like AR. That would be sick.
So they have code pens of all of these things. So if you have the dinosaur image printed out, you can go to the code pen, and it will show the dino on the code pen.
Can I just go on a rant just like real quick? Because you just reminded me of something. I was like digging into accessibility, right? And like I really wanted to understand ARIA, and that's cool. That's sick.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you're live on the internet. This is the best time for a rant.
Yeah, it's being recorded, so this is great. Go for it.
So I was on the W3C site, as anyone does, and I was reading about like the absolute the best way to do tabs with screen readers, right? And I was reading about these nuanced things about like automatic opening or manual opening and how to make that happen. And literally they had the HTML printed on the page and then a link to the CSS and a link to the JavaScript. So I had to go and gather all these pieces and slap it in my own CodePen or StackBlitz. And I'm like, why though? Why? And I was like ranting, and my husband was like, they're not going to change. You're not going to get them to use an online EDE. And I'm like, woo! So you just showing ARJS, like using CodePen. I'm like, well, they can do it. Sorry, that was my rant for the day.
Okay, I have questions. what would happen? Like, I mean, you could pull this up on a browser on a VR device, right?
Oh, yes, you could. Oh God, would that be trippy? You're like in VR. Hi, Kevin. You're not alone. There are many others here, and we are all with you, Kevin. You'd be in VR, and you would see the flat browser, but then all of a sudden, you would see
Yeah, but I mean,
the object.
well, I mean, if it's augmented, like if it's one of those VRs, well, I mean, not a true VR then, but if you are looking at an AR headset, then it might be like kind of like Pokemon, where you're looking at your reality and you're interacting with these things as they pop up.
Yeah, if there's only one headset that I know of that's a VR headset that supports AR properly. I think that's the Vive, HTC Vive.
Can
The
you
rest of
explain
them
to me
they have.
what that even means? How would that even work?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so-
VR is who wants to go?
I was just gonna say that the Oculus has cameras on the outside because we all have an Oculus, so we're familiar with that one.
And you can do
Those
pass-through,
cameras,
right?
yeah, when you're in pass-through, that's kind of like AR, but the problem with the Oculus is those cameras only pick up infrared, so that's why everything's black and white. The Vive actually has regular cameras on it as well, so you can see through like normal vision. So it at least needs two cameras to make that happen, one for each eye, and it has to be like a full like web, like your phone has a full range camera with color. So hopefully in the future, like maybe the Quest Pro, which is being rumored, maybe that'll have some real cameras for AR.
It's not too difficult to combine the two. Like I don't know why
Is it
they
not?
It's
Well,
Sounds
just,
hard.
It's
just additional cost.
maybe
I
it
think.
is hard. Yeah, it is. Like it's going to bump up the pricing. So like Alyssa, think about like the complete opposite, like a HoloLens, right? Which is not VR. It's all the cameras are facing forward and giving you the reality at
Well, I
all
don't think I've
times.
ever used a HoloLens. Is it
It's-
like
it's
VR,
AR.
but you're seeing
No.
the world,
You are always seeing the world.
Hmm.
but then you're also seeing other things?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
augmenting your world. It's augmented reality, right? So on something like that, this would make a lot of sense, where you're literally looking around for Pokemons or dinosaurs or whatever, and you're finding things and interacting with it. But yeah, the traditional VR devices, they don't allow pass through where with like a full fidelity camera, I think.
Yeah, there's some experimental stuff on the Quest, but again, it's all black and white if you try it, so it kind of takes away from the awe of it all. I think there's a mode for Beat Saber that you can use where it does AR, but it's it's less impressive when it's black and white. You get like that dog vision going on. So
Yeah.
hopefully they add some color cameras. The lighting is a real big issue when you have a camera strapped to your face. You know how finicky cameras on the phone can be when there's low light and stuff. So it's like I said, the cost I think is going to be an issue because they have to
So-
put really good cameras on to kind of trick you into not feeling like you're staring through your phone's camera.
So would you all agree that like VR is much more popular than AR right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Largely due to
Because of-
device availability, though.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah?
and the games, the
It's-
interactivity, the immersiveness. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Facebook has really got the whole VR thing right now. They're the big player in the market. They have the market share. That could change. It's still relatively new, but they are just beating down the other vendors right now, and even the folks at Valve are having a hard time. I think they said about 15 to 20% of the Valve game purchases are going through Quest, which is not making them very happy because they have their own VR headset and they own the platform, and they're seeing a lot of their consumers going through Facebook's platform.
Okay, I have a few more questions since the two of you kind of did show what it was. But for the folks who are just joining us, I'm going to do one more thing like TikTok. What we're doing here, we have 3 Easter eggs that you can go and find. We can drop the hints, but there are 3 forms. So go and submit what you want or your answer if you find it in those forms. So Ed and Alyssa's is right there. That's the React Wednesdays for TJ and then the .NET Dev Show. So TikTok, maybe another like 15-20 minutes so we can walk you through what like TJ and I did. So use the time. So submit those forms so you can win some prizes. Who had the code up in VS Code? Was it you, Alyssa? So
Of the beautiful, beautiful chicken.
yeah, your beautiful chicken. The hero thing. What is it, and why are you having to print it?
Yeah.
Can it be anything? Can you show us?
So I'm going to show Ed. Can you talk about? Because I'm going to show that there's a tool that I was using. Share that on my screen, make it bigger. But can you talk to the markers while I share this?
So in order for the camera to find the location where it needs to draw the 3D asset, it has to find some sort of marker. You could do location-based as well, but that would be really hard for our stream because you'd have to be at a place. That'd be really cool for like in-person events, like maybe you're in a conference and you can pin something to a certain room at the conference. We don't have that going on today, so we have to use some sort of camera marker. So this gives your device, like, for lack of a better term, a QR code defined to locate where you want to draw the 3D asset.
Yeah,
Okay,
this was in the docs about the markers and the options with them. So hero being this one, barcode, and then pattern. And so you have like these three options, but then I think with all three of them, you have the ability to customize them and like upload an image that will go in the middle here. But then they also have docs like on that, which I won't go into, but they talk about like the simpler, the better. No colors allowed. I think a little bit of gray is allowed, but they really want you to keep it to black and white. And then I was even reading further into nuances about how this pattern of a white border with the black like square or black circle or whatever it is does better than if you reverse it for some reason. Like it's just a little bit less finicky.
Yeah.
But that's just a little bit of what I've dug
I think
into.
it has a really basic machine learning model here that's doing image recognition. So the simpler the image, the easier it is to train and find that thing in real space.
Yeah, that's kind of why I was impressed that it could do it without any browser APIs, because I mean, the implementation of this, you're essentially looking at like a whole bunch of pixels and you have to pull out something meaningful, and doing that is very processor intensive, right? That's not an easy task. So I'm impressed that it can do it at all, but it would make sense that it needs like clear black and white boundaries, because otherwise it's just too hard to pick up on minute things.
Okay.
You got to think it's doing this on a rotation too. Like you're not just like taking
you're
like
not
a
holding
QR
it
code
flat
scan,
on.
right?
Yeah.
You
Well,
could be at
so
any
cool.
angle, and
I was like digging through the docs too, and there's things about like rotation events, like where you can capture those and do things with the rotation events. And I was like, what are we? Are we like building a game in AR? Like, why would you need rotation events? Yeah, it was sick.
So before we go on, folks, here real quick, Stacey, you need help. Well, we are here to help. We're talking about something very specific, something fun here with Easter eggs that we're hiding in our code, or if you're cool like Ed or Alyssa, you're doing it in AR. But you have our Twitter handles here. There are support forums. Yeah, reach out to us. Don't be stuck. If you need help, there's help. I don't know what KW means. I'm just too old for acronyms. Maybe one of you know.
I don't, but a bird just tried to come in my window, so sorry about that. I will Google it. KEKU. Let's see. Or no, KW. How many Ks was it?
KW is like, okay, I'm lost here. I'm old. I'm sorry. I can bing it if Google isn't giving me an answer.
Probably one of the cooler things I can think to do with this AR stuff is things like museums, or just like posts you put up like in the city, learn more, and like you're at a dinosaur museum and you pointed at this and it shows like a rendering of what it might look like, or there's a lot of, I think, interesting things you could do.
No, that's so
true,
because as I was walking through, again, my kid has this obsession for dinos right now. And so we were walking through this local small museum of dinos, but then I was reading about them and how the models aren't to scale. And I was like, but you made the models. Why didn't you just make them to scale? Like, and so that would be so cool to even like see, okay, we're actually at the dino's knee. That's how tall he would be,
is that perhaps because it wouldn't like fit in the building?
Yeah, I was really sad. I was like, make the building bigger. Come on, people.
I'd like to see these being used at like historical places where things either are in ruin or used to be there, and then you can look through your phone and see what it looked like in its heyday in real life size.
That would be
like so
cool to know like that a certain event or like something special happened here. That would be sick.
Yeah. Ed and me have been on walking tours where the guide essentially told us there used to be something here and now it's no more. This would be perfect to kind of help us picturize what was there and now it's no more. But I had one more question here. You said hero, you said barcode, and then there was a pattern. What's the pattern?
Ed, do you know? I didn't look into
I think it's a photograph of some sort. Like they used the dinosaur. That was the quote pattern that it picked up on.
I see. Yeah,
the hope was like an egg, right? I wanted it to be a little egg and the chicken, and it's like the egg is behind the chicken because you just laid it, you know? That was my hope. That was my dream.
You should buy the egg and kind of let Ed expense it, because like our finance team is going to get two expenses, one for the chicken, one for the dinosaur, and like or the chicken.
The real question, Sam, is which of those expenses to submit first, the chicken or the egg?
Which one do you do first? There are consequences to your choices.
I can't even right now. You guys are hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, I want to see. I want to. When do we get to reveal your Sam and TJ's? When does that happen?
We can do that. We can start doing that. But anything else before you do that? Anything else that's like a favorite Easter egg that you have seen in real code? Any of you?
I've seen an AR one. I need to find the exact reference. It was to, I'm trying to remember if it was when they were developing one of the sculptures in Chicago or New York. There was like an AR model that they built, and the artist wanted to like troll like whoever was employing him. So he made a graffiti one and made it like 1 pixel bigger than the actual. So when people started looking at it, it like overlapped the thing.
Nice.
And like he graffitied it for a while.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. So what time is it? It's 20 minutes past the hour. Folks, last call. Last call for you to submit. Well, I think the Ed and Alyssa's thing, you can keep on submitting, but we can timestamp, like this is the last time before you got a chance to submit those forms, before me or TJ show you. And TJ has like much cooler stuff, and I can make. You
can always pose with the chicken, you know.
That's true. You can pose
until the stream ends. So
it's like I'm scared to be with you folks because you're all so cool. Like Alyssa is like a CSS wizard. Like you can do things with CSS that I can't do with code, and TJ can make things move on screen.
Sam, we'll get you there. No, honestly, with TJ's, he sent it out so early. God bless him. Mm-hmm. So I had a chance to go look at it, and he sent out the clue, and it took me so long, like 5 whole minutes. Like it should not have taken that long. Like I was embarrassed, and I was like, no, it's a great clue, TJ. But if they're like me, they're gonna need a little bit of time.
Chicken. What is so hard about it? Mouse chicken.
I was looking everywhere for the mice. I was like, gotta find the mice on the page. Like what?
All right, looks like Ed or TJ is already showing. So we are going first with TJ's.
So we're supposed to attack the chicken?
Well, where's the mouse?
Ed instantly.
You're muted, TJ.
You're still muted, TJ.
You're muted, buddy.
Can we unmute him?
Yeah, I'm here now. If someone in chat, so mouse chicken, if you find it, there's a form you can fill out, or you could just drop it in chat. Has anybody found it? The Easter egg.
Tell us, chat. Tell us.
Mouse chicken. I'm giving you a pretty big hint right now.
Mr.
Magoo
Magoo
found
found it.
Yay.
Oh, there we go.
Alyssa, did you really look for a mouse?
I'm
On
not
screen?
even kidding. I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm like, I'm not seeing the mice, TJ.
Oh, it's funny. But look at what TJ can do. He can make chickens
I
walk.
love those chickens.
Oh, I love it. And you can keep doing it. It just goes on and on.
Okay, TJ, will you leave this up, like on your site? Will it stay?
Oh yeah, there's
I
no
think
reason to
it's
take
okay.
this down, right?
Beautiful, beautiful.
All right, so mouse chicken was double click on the chicken.
Yeah, and
That's
I'll
a good hint, actually.
drop the site in here in the chat as well if you want to try this for yourself. It's funny too. I showed this to my wife, and she insisted. She's like, "Well, you have to make sure all the chickens are double clickable on, not just the original one." So I had to go back in and add a little bit of code. So that's sort of attention to detail, right?
Look at what Mr. Magoo just said. He
You're
said,
not supposed to
question,
see the
I-
source code.
Yeah. I did this. Like, that's why it took me so long, because like before I even tried clicking on the chicken, I opened up and I was like searching the code for things like chicken, mouse. Like I was actually like,
You search for mouse.
I did.
So
Oh, it's
Just
funny.
list all of the click events on the page.
yeah, exactly.
Embarrassed.
So I want to quickly take a few minutes to show how I did this, right? Like
Hey.
Please.
how you do it. So I thought we'd start with the world's simplest chicken, right? All we've got is a chicken on a screen here. And so the first thing I want to do is move the chicken to the bottom corner, basically where it's going to start walking. So we'll set the bottom to 0 and the left to 0 as well. So we got our chicken down here. Our chicken is facing the wrong way, so we want to rotate the chicken. And I think it's rotate Y, just to point the chicken the other way. And the way the chicken walks is actually entirely through CSS. And that's actually was pretty trivial to code because the walking animation is done in CSS. So once I define the animation, like all the chickens just kind of do it out of the box. So I have a keyframes walk. And basically all I want to do is say halfway through this animation, the chicken should be on the other side of the screen. Basically, it starts at left 0. Halfway through this, it should be at left 100%. And if I do this, and then I also have to say on the chicken animation, like 10 seconds, I have to say walk 10 seconds. And if I do that, the chicken will start walking. But you'll see that it doesn't quite work, right? The chicken's kind of doing this weird, like...
I like the
Actually-
moonwalk.
Yeah, actually, like the most fun you can have with this is actually sometimes the things you do wrong actually end up being more entertaining than the right thing of doing this. So one thing I want to do is I want to make this infinite, because I don't want the chicken to stop, right? I want it to keep going back and forth. So it's doing this. It's kind of like it's on a spring, right? Because it like carries some momentum. And the reason for that is animations by default aren't linear, which I've always thought is kind of weird. It's like, what's the name for, the easing.
Ease, yeah.
By default, it's like set, the ease is set so like it picks up an intensity sort of thing. I think it because like, since most animations are things like fade in, fade out, it's more appropriate, but I find like
hover on hover, it makes more sense. But when it's motion, you're like, what?
yeah. So I've had to this has screwed me up so many times where I define an animation. I'm like, why does this not look quite right? And it's like, oh, that's right. I need it to be linear. Also, the chicken leaves the screen a little bit because I have it set to 100%, but 100% is going to position it right off the screen. So I actually need to subtract the width and type it right. Width of the chicken, because we don't want it to walk quite off screen. We just want it to walk almost off screen.
Oh, that's cool.
Calc is something that should have been in CSS from day one.
Oh yeah, yes. Like this used to be madness. Basically,
I thought it's there by default now, right? Like
Now,
Yeah.
not for the last 10
do you know
years.
when that changed? Like when did it? Because I know that like
way
Basu,
back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, because it used to be basically you just couldn't do this in CSS. You'd have to go to JavaScript because there was no way of getting. You just straight up couldn't do this. So then immediately you had to give up on CSS and make this animation happen in
Or
JavaScript
you could
only.
do it super jank and like, be like left 90%.
Yeah,
90% should cover it.
it's like it's close enough.
I'm still amazed you can do this in CSS.
Yeah, and so we have the chicken walking, but you'll see the chicken doesn't actually turn around, right? It just like walks backwards and forwards. So the other thing we have to do is we have to tell the chicken at 50% that it has to transform, rotate Y. Basically, we're undoing that rotation. So we'll say 50%, you should be rotated the other way. And you have to spell it right also. And when you do this,
I would totally have the chicken walk backwards. It's just so much cooler.
I like the 3D effect there.
And yeah, so what it's doing now is the chicken switches, but it's like it's easing the chicken from one rotation to another. So it's like 3D doing this, which is amusing. And we may want to keep it this way just for fun. But
this reminds me of like 90s like shooters. Like the 3D engines were all based off of sprites.
Yeah.
So if it was the thing would either always face you, like Doom, or it would do this kind of animation, which is totally lame.
Because they were like all flat models. So
yeah, exactly.
But there might be other ways of preventing this. The way I've always done this is essentially I want to say, to prevent it from just doing a straight ease between 180 and 0, basically what I want to say is right before the end, you should still be at 180. And then right before the end of this, you should still be at 0 so that it only does the animation right at the end. Oh, and I gotta actually, I
was like, I wish that would work.
That'd
be great. Just
I feel like it should figure this out.
Right?
So we do this and now it just changes. We could also, like, I don't know, we could see what looks better. You could also make it do it.
Look how good he looks when he hits the wall, though. You gotta watch that. Watch him hit the wall.
So I added a little bit of a spin. Like, I feel like this gives him a little bit of a personality, right? Like, it does a little bit of a saunter.
Yeah. If you're a swimmer, like the way you turn when you think, like you start your turn before you hit the wall and you kind of push back.
Yeah.
That's kind of what the chicken is doing.
Yeah,
you could use some of the new CSS filters and make like Disco Chicken and like have him changing color and flashing.
Yeah, exactly. You could make the chicken like if the chicken was like an SVG, you could start like changing the color, like its bandana thing could like do things. I don't know. We could have some fun with this. But I do want to show how I did the whole duplicating the chicken thing. So essentially, I feel like modern web development, we don't do a whole lot of stuff with DOM APIs. Like it's not cool to use jQuery at all, but sometimes this knowledge does come in handy. Like if you ever need to duplicate chickens.
TJ, all the time. I want to see it.
I feel like anymore though, like when I work on Angular and React apps, I don't write this sort of code anymore because the libraries sort of take care of it. But every once in a while, it's good stuff to know. And in this case, it's going to be what makes this sort of thing possible. So you have to spell const right. So I'm going to get a reference to my chicken. So good old document.query selector. This is basically like the thing that was inspired by jQuery because you just pass it a CSS selector to get a reference. And what I want to say is that I'm going to add a listener to my chicken. And it's double chick. Chicken joke.
That should be a thing.
It's actually DBL click, which I don't know how I feel about that. It's kind of, I don't know. And another DOM API, what you can do is
you said you're not sure how you feel about it, didn't you?
Well, so
DBL
click versus like double click, like
right.
I think it's just kind of weird that they went with DBL, but I don't know, whatever. And another DOM API clone node. So this is just built into the DOM. I have reference to a DOM node. I can say new chicken and just clone the original one. And then all I have to do is append that new chicken somewhere. So new chicken
I
goes to the
have
body.
never seen clone node. Can you
I
real
have not
quick,
either. Yeah.
pause on clone node and like
Does it work on
marinate-
everything?
Maybe let it marinate for me.
Yeah, any DOM reference you could just clone, and actually it takes a Boolean true if you want to also do a deep clone. So if like you were cloning a div and you wanted all of its contents to also come with it, you could do that, or you could do a shallow clone by false or passing no parameters if you just wanted to clone that node itself. In this case, we're just cloning one node, so whether it's deep or shallow doesn't matter because there's only one thing there.
And
And
this works
now-
on everything? Like any other like DOM element will just clone?
Yep. Yeah, this stuff goes back to IE9. So unless you're still developing for IE8, you're good to go. This is like the core of like core browser stuff. Like a pen child is like, I don't know, like IE4.
Okay, so on the chickens that are walking here, like they have a blue background, and when they cross, you see a little bit of that, but you don't see that on the site. Right?
Yeah. So I also have a transparent chicken, so I could. That's
okay.
So what I can also do is say
Transparent chicken, transparent chicken.
I have two chicken files, and did I screw up the?
These are developer terms you hear all the time. I have two chicken files.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's
I
my
have
other
transparent
chicken
chicken.
file? You know, you start ranting.
Well, I told our designers, like, yeah, well, of course I need multiple chickens for multiple uses, right? Like,
And also, shame on you, TJ, for not making these files available for the rest of us.
they're in look, they're in our backend right here. Anybody can use them.
TJ, I dropped a link in private chat for the filter effects.
I think Ed wants you to add a filter.
So
effect.
there's one in there. If you want to try any of this out, there's one called Filter Hue Rotate, and if you throw that in your animation, it may give you a disco chicken.
Oh my god, yes. Do
So
it.
this
Filter
one,
Hue
right?
Yeah.
Do it. Wait, like in the keyframe?
Yeah, in the keyframe, I think.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, if you
Well,
throw
we-
it in the keyframe, it'll
Keep rotating
animate, I
it.
believe.
Yeah?
I think
Well, I
so.
guess
Maybe.
wouldn't you have to change the degree so that the hue would keep changing?
Oh,
at
so like
95,
it changes
the hue would
colors as it goes. I see.
Yeah.
So we
And,
could only do it
be
to the.
disco chicken, exactly.
So we could do .disco. .disco starts at 0.
Right.
I
wonder what are the degrees in colors, Ed?
It's
We were going
it's the color
180.
wheel.
We go into 360.
Yeah, it's a color wheel.
I don't understand color in a wheel.
It's a color wheel. You've never seen a color wheel before? Come on.
I get that, but a color wheel has like gradients. And
We
stuff.
have-
It's not just a flat 0 to.
We have zombie chickens. This is awesome.
There we go. Yeah,
love CSS.
Forget disco. This is zombie chicken time.
I love it. That
and
is
then
so cool.
I know
Oh.
I want to wrap up here to give Sam time, so I'll show the last thing I did, because on the site you'll see the chickens appear a little bit of everywhere, and so all I did for that is did a little bit of randomness. So math.random times the height of the window, and we'll add in pixels. And so now, did I
love
screw
the
something?
zombies.
Is
They're
that
walking.
is the click event still on that chicken?
It's still on the original one, so I have to refactor it a bit to make it on all the chickens.
Oh, you
Let's
want
make
all
them-
the chickens to be clickable? That's a lot. I feel like you should have one clickable chicken, and if you can't find your clickable chicken, you're out of luck.
Well, it's easy now that he spawned zombie chickens.
That's true. It's true. It's a little bit cheaty with zombie chicken.
Thank you so much for entertaining us with the zombie chicken. That is so cool.
Zombie chicken.
This was perfect. I love it so much, TJ.
I feel zombie chicken might have to make a repeat appearance at some point.
Yes.
Oh, Halloween. Maybe you change your Easter egg to be Halloweeny.
Yeah. So I'm going to drop the chicken link here in the chat so everybody can check it out.
Yeah, fork those. I want to see like people fork that and like send us their version of the zombie chicken or whatever kind of crazy thing they come up with.
Hey, Ed and I will be on UI Fridays, same bat channel. So this Friday, if you fork that, I will just go ahead and guarantee a chance to win a prize. So yeah, if you fork TJ's chicken and have your own version of the chicken, we want to see it. I'll show it on stream and we'll have some fun. So
That's awesome, TJ.
Zombie chickens. We're totally like, that's going to be a thing on the channel. So
TJ,
I love what you did.
Run. You need to go now. I don't want to keep you too long.
I'm going to stick around for a few more minutes because I want to see Sam. So I'm going to toss things over to Sam to show off his. I did find yours, Sam. So
I was so embarrassed to do this after you. Like, how do I follow it up after zombie chicken?
Why are you embarrassed?
Okay.
I want to see.
Folks, last chance. Do the form. So you can do this. Do the form. Okay. I can walk you through exactly what it does and then how I did it. But anyone get the 1986 Gradius thing? Ed?
So this is one of the many games by Konami that had the Konami Code.
Yeah. All right, so folks, I'll walk you through. So on this page, I'm going to click on any of the detail pages because the main landing page was locked, so I couldn't do that. I did it on the detail page. So this one's just has an embedded YouTube thingy in there, but nothing else going on, right? So on this thing, we go left. No, actually, no. I'm my bad. Let me redo it. It's not left. It's up first.
Dude, like if you Google for the Konami Code, there's like about 100 different versions. How do you know which one is the original?
This is the original. Okay. So up, down, left, right, B, A, and that's it. So what it does is I am into .NET MAUI, which is coming out in November of this year. It's .NET. It's the MAUI theme. It's the guy with surfing with his GoPro. I don't know. I gave him 2 GoPros.
You can never have too many GoPros.
You can see how dumb mine looks compared to TJ's because I'm simply appending to dumb. I'm not making anything move, but that's the best I could do.
Yeah, but you captured those events. Can you show us how you captured those events?
Yes. So before I do that, so this is kind of enticing, and actually Cindy kind of pointed us to this. So there's a lot of history to this, and this is just remarkable how this has evolved. So this whole thing started back in 1986. So Konami is a game manufacturer, and they came out with the game Gradius. And the Konami Code was first created by this gentleman, Kazuhisa Hashimoto. And he was developing this, he was one of the developers of Gradius, and while he was testing, he found that it was too difficult in some of the later stages to have the whole game played out before he could test some of the props and the things he could win. So he put in a cheat code to kind of give him all the power-ups right away, and so he could test. And then classic Easter egg, he forgot to take it out, and then by the time they discovered that it was still there, they were actually scared to take it out because that might introduce more bugs. So they just left it in there. So the classic is up, down, left, right, B, A, and then there are many iterations of that cheat code. So and they kind of talk you through like what some of the cheat codes are, and they expose a lot of different power-ups in the games and new characters, and then this has a whole history. So that's the famous Konami Code. Now, how do you do this for your own? You can be like me, who doesn't like to code, and just cheat a little bit, and all of that is kind of done for you. So there is a thing called Egg.js by this gentleman named Mike Flynn, and I can drop a link to that. This is actually pretty sweet because you don't have to do anything. You just drop it in, and then it just knows. You give it whatever pattern you want, and it just knows. So that's Egg.js. So grab that minified.js file. It's already hosted on Cloudflare. Drop it in, and then you have this add code, and you can give it whatever pattern, and they can match on it, and they can do whatever it is that you want to do. So that's just the easy way. But
man,
again,
if you like Google Egg.js, it is like not on this page. What was the link? Thatmikeflynn.com.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think I
Because
adopted it.
there's like a
GitHub
lot of
as well.
other egg JSs. Okay. Thatmikeflynn.com.
Yeah. So that's easy to do, but I am a professional software developer, right? So I write code like a professional should, which is going out to Stack Overflow and copying and pasting code, which is what I've done here. So let me walk you through. And it's actually like, no, sorry, Ed, what were you saying?
I was going to say, Sam, I'm disappointed. I thought you would make a chicken nougat package and upload it to NuGet, so we could say we have a chicken nougat.
We should probably do that. Yeah.
I was being hoping to be punny there. Chicken
Yeah,
nougat.
no, I
Get it?
Chicken-
Come on, guys. Chicken nougat.
Nougat. You got to say it
Chicken
slower,
nougat.
Ed. You
Chicken
went too
nougat.
fast. Chicken nougat. There you go. There you go.
Okay, I can't get this guy to go away. Okay. So this is actually just a few lines of code. But it's actually
Hold up.
pretty,
Sorry. One more
pretty
time. I got to
elegant.
interrupt, Sam.
Yeah.
You're not using the CodeItLive theme, my friend. This is
I know.
CodeItLive.
Download it right now. Do it right now. Do it on the stream. Download.
Oh boy.
Download.
All right. What are the
It's
extensions?
Extensions.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody click there to go to extensions. We're just gonna. There's a
Yeah.
tab for extensions.
Yay!
There you go.
Okay, proceed.
All right. Hang on. Go away. How do I make this go away? There you go. All right. So this is just a few lines of code, but I found it was kind of quite elegant, and you can actually tinker and do your own. So first up is you have to listen on the DOM for the key down, because you're trying to pattern match what the user is typing. Now, there are two aspects of this, right? So first is, like, here's your pattern, and you can make it whatever you want, right? So this is arrow up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A. That's a classic Konami code. So how do you make this work in as less lines of code as possible? So you add a listener, and then I'm logging stuff here, which I can show you. But you start with a variable that's 0, right? Because you want people to match. And when I'm typing, first thing you want to check is it one of those letters or characters that you're typing? If it's not, like if it's not in this index, you just bail. You set it to 0 and you bail. The next thing you need to do is, am I typing it in that right order, right? So this is where that little index thing really helps, because if the key that you're pressing is not in that thing, then you bail because you type something that is not in that sequence, right? If that is okay, then you just increment. And when you are done, when you have the full match, like this one's a 10-character array, when you find the full match, you can do whatever else that you want. Like, I mean, the Egg.js thing, the jQuery thing that did a window transition to kind of pop up. And you can actually see Konami code in many, many, many sites as an Easter egg. What I just grabbed was, again, I'm into .NET MAUI, so I made that image, which is actually sitting just on my OneDrive. So I grabbed the whole link that can render, and then I'm just adding that body. So if I grab this, and it's actually fun to see that index thing work nicely. So let me go to Chrome and see if I can type there.
And real quick, while Sam's bringing that up, I'm gonna drop off here. Thanks everybody.
Yeah.
Today.
Come and see
Good
you,
luck, Sam,
TJ.
finishing
this.
15 minutes.
Top of the
Yeah,
hour,
bye.
we're doing React Wednesdays, so
Have fun on React Wednesday.
Stick around; it'll be fun. But I got to go set up and get ready for that. So I'll see you all in the 15 minutes.
Okay. So I have it pasted here. So no HTML, no CSS. I'm not smart enough to do any of that. I'm going to stick to JavaScript, whatever little I know. And let me see if I can bump this up a little bit, maybe. And can I collapse this? Or maybe not. Okay, we'll just run this and see how this is working. Okay, so we start out and we click in here. So I do kind of an up, right? You can see that it notices that I'm doing arrow up, up, up. You can see the counter go up. So we need to, like, if I do anything else in the meantime, like if I do any other character, it's going to set it to 0 and bail, right? So it redoes that pattern over and over again, right? But if I keep going up, up, and then down, down, left, right, we are up to 5 now. Left, right, that's up to 7 now. And then B, which is now at 8. Now, the next character I type, it's going to wait to see, do I have a 9? I mean, did it actually do the current ++, which means you met the full pattern, and at which point the pattern.length will be the same as the current, which is 9, right? So if I come in here and if I do an A, now you have a 9, and now you see that image pop up, right? Yeah, so that's all I did. Just a hint of JavaScript to kind of make it pop up a little thing, which I am looking forward to. That's our little .NET MAUI guy in anticipation for .NET MAUI, which is the evolution of Xamarin Forms. It lets you write .NET and Blazor code that works on iOS, Android, Mac OS, and Windows Desktop. So that's my thing.
So I remember back in the day, there was a version of Street Fighter 2 that somebody got into the source code, and it had very similar pattern recognition things in a certain part of memory where it had the keystrokes for like throwing a fireball and all of these things. And somebody got in there and like switched those out and made like a super version of Street Fighter and put the ROMs out for people. And there was like a whole like, it wasn't bootleg, but it was, you know, like a hacked version of Street Fighter you could go play, and it had like crazy special moves and fireballs just come out of everywhere.
Okay, so explain, like when you say put the ROMs out for people, like is that printed like hardware, or what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what these were called back in the day. There was a hacked version of Street Fighter 2, and it ended up Capcom made that idea into like Street Fighter Turbo Edition, but there was some ROMs that were going around that were completely hacked and had like special moves that didn't actually exist in the game, but they are detected a very similar way, which I thought was kind of cool. So it would look for these patterns like the throw a fireball or a spinning kick, and each character had its own set of these patterns it would look for. And somebody got into those patterns and added new ones and created new special moves that were just totally goofy. They modified it so you could jump really high and all sorts of other things too. But the pattern matching reminded me of that old school gaming stuff.
Yeah. So that's all I had. So if you did a view source on this, you can see it, which is now it's on the image actually. So you do the page source. It actually is like, this is hosted on our end, so you can actually stick this JavaScript in anywhere you want, but this one just does it at the top, and that works fine because like I don't have any other dependencies. It's just all straight up JavaScript. But again, I mean, I did the copy paste thing, but I find like this little line of code to be so elegant, like just 2 lines of code to kind of go through an array and make sure you're typing things in the order that you're supposed to. I thought that was pretty elegant. So yeah, that's all I had. I'm into MAUI, so I stuck in. And by the way, folks, if you need to make this your own, like there's a whole genre of things you can do. So what this is, that's the .NET robot guy, right? So if you do a .NET mod bot, there is a whole thing in which you can make your own and kind of have it as a companion. You can share it. And people have done like crazy things with this. So essentially, you start, and you can see the gallery of things people have done. It's just crazy.
What's his name? Does he have a name?
He's the .NET bot.
Just .NET bot. Okay.
He does .NET bot. And I can post this link here real quick.
So this is a Microsoft thing. So it's actually the .NET Bot XP Pro 2000.
Ed's got jokes.
Dad jokes. So you start out here, and this is kind of like the Xbox type thing. You have arms, and you have legs, and you have antennas, and you have headgears and eye gears and a background, and you do your thing. So this is what it starts out generic being, but you can make it a firefighter. You can make it climb down like slopes of a mountain. You can make it be like a home improvement guy, whatever you want, your heart desires said. It's pretty sweet. So go make your own.
Very cool. Very cool. I've never seen him. He's cute. And I'm a little sad he doesn't have a name, but I'll get over it.
I looked it up, by the way, and the hacked version of Street Fighter 2 is called Street Fighter 2 Rainbow Edition.
Oh, so announcement for prizes. We actually have quite a few people who are still looking through them, and we wanted to give people a bit more time. So you can find the forms on our Twitter. We pinned it on the page, and we're going to give a bit more time for people to submit to whichever category they would like to submit, whichever Easter egg. So on UI Fridays, Ed and I will be there, and Sam, you're welcome to join us always, but we will be announcing the official winners to the Easter Egg Challenge. So yeah, check us out on Friday. Ed, what time is that? I don't know. I'm really bad with time zones. I'm always like, I know what time it is for me. Let's see. Hang on.
Oddly enough, it is not on my calendar. So we do have our VR show tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern time.
So it's 1 p.m. Central, which makes it what time Eastern? 2? So just 2. 1 over?
That's the hardest time zone conversion, isn't it?
I know. Just 1 hour. So 2 p.m. Friday. Check us out. We'll be finishing up a VS Code Lite theme. And
maybe we can get Sam to use it for more than 0.2 seconds.
I am into light theme. I don't know. Like
me too. I'm right there with you, Sam.
I'm
right
into
there
lights.
with you.
Yeah. And so I do want to make a mention here. So Random Daredevil, looks like you and somebody, Basu maybe, were working on something, and looks like you were trying to use Telerik ASP.NET Ajax with a backend that does RESTful API over JSON. So that should be very doable. It is just difficult to kind of dive into what problems you're having on stream. So please reach out to us. There is a support ticket system just for that.
Yeah, it sounds like Cindy and Ivana already got their issue filed over. So support should be reaching out. Our support is killer. And so if you're ever using any of our products, I highly suggest going through that channel. We've got a ton of people, staff members on support to not only help you with like finding your way through docs, but even like helping you build out demos and like debugging your code. So yes, we do a lot of special streams here, and they can't, like Sam said, it'd be really, really hard to dive into specific code use cases on stream. But we are always happy to help you off stream. So yeah, we are happy to have you here, and thanks for chiming in. So.
Yep.
Well, I know TJ wanted a bit of time for refresh, Sam. So I didn't know if there's anything else.
I'm once again embarrassed to show mine at the end of your AR thing, and then after zombie chickens. But
I loved yours. No,
it was very nostalgic. I like all the Konami stuff. Like I played all of those games back in the day. Like everything that had that Konami symbol on it was in a cartridge in my console. So
nice. Yeah, and then one of the things you realize, like when we do traditional .NET, which is what like Ed and me do a lot. Like Ed does web stuff, but like traditional .NET, it's hard to do some of these things on the fly. Like web is just so much easier to just make things on the fly and show it off, right? So I actually had some fun just like trying to write that code myself in JavaScript, which I haven't done enough in some time. It's fun to kind of go back to the basics and manipulate the DOM.
Yeah. It's like TJ said, even if you're in the JavaScript world on the daily, you're probably using a framework that's masking all of that. So yeah, it's it's fun.
Indeed. So we got 7 minutes before TJ takes over. So folks, thank you for hanging out with us. This was just a fun little idea that Cindy just put in our heads to say, let's do something for Easter eggs and Easter egg hunts. I know, again, we talked about the 2 different types of Easters that are celebrated. Whatever that you are into, please celebrate with your family. Eat well. We're all humans. We got to eat. And food is such a great bridge across cultures and different regions, right? So celebrate to your heart's desire. I hope everyone's safe and healthy and trying to be productive and spending quality time with your family. All right, so if nothing else, thank you everyone for hanging out with us in chat. We love you, and you know where to find us right here on CodeItLive. We got a Thursday show coming up tomorrow. We got a React Wednesdays coming up right after this, and then Fridays are chat shows and UI Fridays. So come and hang out with us anytime your time permits.
Jokes. The chicken jokes. They like your kitchen dev setup. Yeah.
I know. This is good. I'm just too lazy to bring down my green screen. It just stays up. And honestly, this actually started. What's that?
Whose kitchen is that clean? It's just.
Okay. No. So this is actually a joke. So no, this is It's not, but actually, the joke is there is a PM at Microsoft. Her name is Maddie Leger. She actually works on the Xamarin and on the .NET teams. She did a stream last year, and I think it was actually at Microsoft Build conference, where she was in her kitchen, and it looked like spanking clean, not a thing in the world, and it was actually a real kitchen. So people took pictures of her kitchen and made it like a virtual thing. This is not her kitchen,
Nice.
though, but that's the joke. Yeah.
I love the inside joke. That's something I would do.
Yeah. All right, folks. So that's it from us. Come and hang out with us in 5 more minutes, and thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Come back and see TJ. He's coming up.
All right. Take it easy, and we'll see you on the next stream. Okay. Bye-bye.